everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again. I'm back for another crafty video. So, we're going to continue to work on our Grimoire. Okay, so these are now both completely dry. I think I spoke about what I was going to do on the inside. I don't have the exact bits, but like what I was thinking is building like some kind of a border like this either side of it, so that it's, when it closes, it kind of encases something else inside, and that's what we'll have. That's what will be the actual book itself. This is just going to look like a book. So in order to get it to have that kind of an essence of a book, I wanted to have it to have a bit of an overhang. So the only thing I've done, literally just off camera just now, is I've created these, which are going to sit like this. So that I'll have this bit of an overhang. This will be the bit where the page, where it looks like it's got pages, and then this will be the outside, so the cover. And we're going to have those top and bottom to look like a book, so that when it's together it will kind of open up like this. And remember, we've got the spine as well for the whole thing, so that will all kind of come together and it will look like a book. So obviously this isn't the right length. I actually made this for a different project but never used it, and I wondered if I could cut it. I don't know how easy it's going to be for me to cut. So now it's actually shaped. If not, I can always make another one. I can just shape it. All I did with this was I used a piece of this grey board like this. In fact, I think that should be the right length. It is. So I might actually start with one of these, and all I did was I wetted it and I formed it over a shape, over a curve, and then I let it dry in that shape. So it was then, so I probably will make it out of this, because this is the right height, and when I do it I will show you what I did. Okay, so but what we're going to do today is something that's just a little bit interesting, rather than watching me just make like cover things in paper mache. So what I'm going to do is I want to create some kind of a texture on here, so that when I start covering it with paper mache, it starts to build that texture, and it has, you know, I want it to feel, have an essence of it. It's been around for some time. It's a very old book. I'm not quite sure the kind of things I want on the front of it. I think I quite fancy either a skull or a, you know, maybe a snake in profile, or I don't know yet. I haven't quite thought about that. I'm not going to put any great detail on this layer anyway. All I want is to have an essence of it having some texture that might have worn down over time. So the way that I thought about doing that is by creating something using string. So I've got a variety of different strings. So I've got some like coarser stuff and some soft stuff, and I've got this stuff which is finer. Nothing could be finer than some string in the drawer. I've got some thicker stuff that has been dyed, but you know, it's fine. And what I was thinking is, if I can create it so that it, like, all of this is new to me, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just having a play. But I was thinking, if I created something with maybe this in like swirls of things, or like wavy lines or something, then when I start paper mashing over, if I use tissue paper to start with, it will create a texture. The reason, so that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to use a separate piece. So I haven't glued this to the rest of the work yet, because if it doesn't go right, then I can always change it, so I can start again. So this is just some grey board. It is, I will tell you how big it is in a second, when I've got this out, when I get my digital caliper thing out. Electronic digital caliper, that's correct, that's what it was, Dave. It is 2 millimeters thick, this. So I thought, like, this is just stuff that I got from, you know, I go to that scrap place, and I get this board. It comes in a bit longer than this. Actually, I've cut it down. It comes in this length. Don't know what that is. It comes in 14 3/4 length. This is inches we're talking, by 6 1/4. So it must be some kind of packing or something. And I've just cut it. All I've done is I've cut it down to make this, and then I've joined two pieces together using some of this tape. So what I was thinking is we could do with some kind of a pattern. Now I don't know what kind of pattern. Maybe I should have a think about the pattern first. So I was thinking like some kind of a swirl like that up into the corner, maybe a swirl like that. It's an octopus, like that kind of shape in each corner. In fact, that would be the perfect shape, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it's an octopus. No, I mean because it's maybe I should have an octopus on the front of it. Sorry. Sorry, there's cooking going on in my house, and the particles of dry, smoky air really get on my lungs since having COVID. So maybe that's what I do. So let's see if I can transfer that kind of an image onto here. And like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the perfect image. It's the perfect image, Ludo. I don't know how to get that to make a mirror image over here. On here. Like my brain's not going, I don't know how to make that. I do that. And, alright, okay, it's that. No, it's going to go around the wrong way, isn't it? What? Oh, Dave. I want that. I want that there. So I need to start there. I mean, it might not actually end up being like this. I'm just going to draw the shapes on. So that's going to go there. So that's going to start like that. And I want it to be quite rough and ready because, you know, it's in the days before books were printed, and, you know, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it anyway. So we'll start again kind of up here. What we've got to do that way around, haven't we? Like that. So that's the kind of way I was thinking, and having then some kind of a, I don't know, down the side, having some kind of a something like that, maybe down the side. So I'll do that. Like that, and then I'll try and flip that image, so that's that way. Is that going to be opposite? No, it's going to be the same way around, Dave, so that's going to be the opposite way around. So I'll come down, I'm going to go that way, that's it. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to go down like that, and then because they're not, that's obviously not the center. I'm just going to do, I don't know, maybe just a down and a back up, and an up and a back down, like that, something like that. Anyway, like I say, we're going to put it on. We're going to see and see what happens. So I want something that's fairly dimensional. So I think what I'm going to need is I'm going to use a glue gun to get this all stuck down. So I'm just going to get my glue gun out. Not my gun. My glue gun. Not even my glue gun. Oh. It's all falling down. So I'm going to plug this in. So the back I might do slightly differently. Well, I guess slightly differently. I mean differently because there's definitely no chance of it being exactly the same. I could do with me glue mat, wherever that is. It's here. And I was thinking if I glue it, if I put gluiness down, gluiness. If I put glue down and then stick the string to that, I can then, like, you know, follow that kind of around and reshape as I go. I mean, like, obviously it would have been great if I could have had exactly the same image all the way around. Well, no, you don't want it to be exactly the same image, do we? But a similar image. I might reshape this one because these are much more squished here than this one is. So actually, I don't have another colour pen, otherwise I would have overdrawn it. So I think I've already gone that far overdrawing it. So if it started a bit over here is what I was thinking. Anyway, let's put the others on and we can always come back to that one. So we'll start here, maybe, for instance. But we don't have... Oh, I need some glue stick. Just bear with me. Glue sticks, glue sticks. Glue sticks. On the gluey stick, there won't be a gluey stick. I'll just be a gluey stick. Sweet the ball in the seat when you've been welded to the glue stick. There we go, folks. Sorry, had to get to glue sticks. Well, not glue sticks, but not glow sticks. Just these. So, are we coming out? We are. I had a moment then when I thought, did I even turn it on? But I did. Hang on, I'm going to get all tangled with wire now. So, I'm going to start down here because it's easier. And I'm hoping the string isn't too tangly. So what I was thinking is if I just do... It's very hard to keep it going straight without, whilst pressing it as well. My hand makes my hand all wobbly. I bet the glue will be dry by the time I've done this. So this is what I was kind of thinking. So it gives it some texture on which to then put the tissue paper. So we're going to cover it in tissue paper. And then, so that the reason why we want to use tissue paper is we want it to be able to get into all the nooks and crannies, and you can manipulate tissue paper better. Well, this is certainly what I'm thinking. Like I say, I am not an expert. I'm just a bloke doing some stuff for fun. So, get off me. This is when me and the glue fall out. So that's on there like that. Let's do the wiggly line down the side. That's not a very straight line, is it, Dave? No, it's not. I'm going to go down to there. It's going to be a bit more of an organic curve rather than a sharp bend like that was. Down to here. I know you can't see, but I'm trying not to burn myself like I just did. And then down like this, in kind of a straight line, down like that. And we don't have to worry about it being stuck properly because it's going to be covered with tissue paper, and you're not going to notice. So we'll do, let's move the kickstand. We'll do that bit there. And just go round to that bit, top bit, and then, because otherwise the glue will be dry by the time I've faffed. The only reason why this string is this colour is because it's string that I dyed. It's saffron coloured. I dyed it with saffron. I'd got some out of date saffron that really lost its flavour, so that's the reason why I used it. But now I am repurposing the string for other things. It does smell saffron-y though, when you're using it. It's definitely got that smell once it touches the hot glue. Might be a bit long. That end bit, it is. I've covered it in hot glue now. In fact, I'm actually stuck to the hot glue. And the scissors are stuck to the hot glue. I'm stuck to the hot glue. The hot glue is stuck to the hot glue. There we go. And then I shall turn it round and do this bit here. So I'm not sure about the bit in the middle, but maybe. There, and then use this. So somebody out there will probably be screaming now at the screen saying, oh, you should be doing it like this. Remember, I'm doing it my way. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is just my way. Trying to get that piece of string to stay down, and then just kept getting glued to the string itself. So we'll do this bit. Doesn't seem quite as big a flourish as the others. So just so you know, I don't know what date this is going out. I know it's going out on a Friday because we're going to have it as Freaky Friday, because we're doing the Grimoire. But there is a sale running from the 4th of August until the 1st of September on my Etsy. And that's for my birthday, because it's my birthday on the 4th. And there's going to be 55% off everything. So if you're in the market for some digitals and you like my stuff, then that might be an ideal opportunity for you. Right, okay, so I want to do this, I want to alter this, and I don't know quite what I want to do. So now I want to make it narrower. So it's got to come down maybe more like this, like like that and more like that, maybe. We'll do that. They do definitely have a hint of octopus, don't they? A hint of octopus. It's a new colour by your local paint company. It's Dulux in the UK. Dulux and Crown make paint in the UK, but I don't know what their international brands are called. So, not that I'm sponsored by either of them, so. Such a wibbly wobbly hand. Just cut that off. Down to that. Yeah, cool. Okay, so then this bit down here. We'll do this bit straight. The straight bits are good. Oh, except for when you stick your finger in the glue. Straight bits of glue, stick your knuckle in it, make yourself burny burns. Sorry for the jumping. Straight bits are easy because you can pull it taut, but the other bits are completely like covered in the hot glue now. Kind of mirrored, yeah. And then there's another bit here. Sorry, no, you need to leave that, Dave, because all you're going to do is pull your skin off as well. It's all over this finger. And then we're going to go like that. I'll put this on. Try and dip it in the glue, but without burning your fingers, Dave. Straight to that, and then snip it off. There, cool. Like that. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's the outside bits. I don't know what I want to do on the middle, so I'm not going to do anything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to unplug that. And then hang my glue gun up so it doesn't burn anything. Me, specifically. And then I shall put the string away. I didn't need that string, did I? Well, you know, I've got string for every occasion. String for all occasions. Gonna be brutally honest with you. It's been about a week since I did the other part of the, so since I did part one of this, I have been very poorly. I came down with COVID again. I don't know why I keep getting COVID, but I'm not happy about it. This time what it's done is it's managed to sort out the cough, so I don't keep coughing, but I've had terrible like head cold with it, and for the first time ever, a skewed sense of taste and smell, and it's not great. So it's now Wednesday the 7th of August. It's Vic's birthday, but he's spending his day at home playing Diablo, because that's his thing, okay? And it means that I can do a crafty day. This is the first day I felt well enough to do anything, though. Although it was my birthday at the weekend, I did feel quite unwell. We haven't been anywhere or done anything as a result of it. So I'm here now, but like literally I've just started feeling like I'm having a hot flush again. So anyway, we're back for part 2. It's part 1 for you guys. It's part 2 of the part 2, but it's still the same part of part 2 for you. But it's just that it's a week later for me. So if you get what I mean. Anyway, if you don't, there's no point even asking me what's going on. I haven't got a clue. My memory is shocking this time round. A couple of things I have done to prepare. I've ripped up some newspaper. That's what I'm going to use to shape around this, I think. And I've got here some traditional, going back to basics, the traditional stuff for making paper mache. So I will just point out my voice is weird, even weird to me. It's kind of not the usual just deep that it goes. It's husky, croaky, goodness only knows. So this will be the true test, because I haven't really done anything where I needed to speak for any length of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of my faithful, so the stuff that I made the top hat with, I'm going to make the same stuff again, which is a cup, and so it's a cup of flour, a cup of, it doesn't have to be perfect, 'cause you're not making a cake, remember. Cup of flour, cup of water, and half a tablespoon of salt. Now, by the way, a cup measurement is not a standard measurement in the UK, so we don't. So luckily, I have a thing here that is a cup, but it's also 250 mils, and that's what we would normally do. It's 250 mils, which I know sometimes is not always a cup, because sometimes a cup can be 230 mils, I believe. But like I say, a cup in the UK, not a standard measurement. So I've got a cup of flour. I'm going to do the salt. Doesn't matter about the proportions of salt. The salt's really there to prohibit mold growth, that kind of thing. So all the nasty stuff that you don't want to happen. All the flour that I'm using is plain flour. I don't know what that's called in America, but it's called plain flour here. So it's not the stuff with the rising agents in it and all of that. So and then also we need a cup of water. So I've got this because this is what I'm going to keep it in, and it'll be easy for me to access, open mouth, so it'll be easy for me to access to dip things in and out of. So I'm doing just a bit less than, in fact I might even do less than. I'm going to put some in and gauge it, because I am also going to put a little bit of glue in it as well. So that's just the recipe that I use when I'm making this kind of stuff. Now sometimes it depends on your flour, whether this goes thin and liquid like, or whether it goes gloopy and you might need more of this. So you want it to be kind of like single cream in consistency. I know some people say that they don't like the smell of this, but like at the end of the day, it's not. I don't think it smells horrible. I just think it smells like flour. It smells like baking to me. And I've not met many people on the planet that have said, "Oh, I don't like the smell of baking." So yeah, like that's going to be a little bit thick still. So I'm going to put some white glue in it. Now I've bought some white glue this time round. This was $2.49 from the B&M. What is it? It's, I don't know, it doesn't say. Is it a litre? Something like that. I'd say that's probably about a litre. Yeah, it's about a litre. So I'm going to take the lid off, and yeah, I thought it might have a seal on it. Seal, sorry, can't resist. Oh, well, that went on the floor somewhere. I'm going to put some of this in here. Just, it kind of hedges your bets with the adhesion. You don't want a lot of this though, otherwise it turns into like concrete. And then we're going to have a bit more water as well. And like I say, you want it to be like the consistency of single cream. So don't worry, I'm not using spring water or any kind of posh water. It's just a bottle that I've filled up with tap water since. So just want to. I'm not too worried about lumps and things, because you're not really going to use the lumps. You kind of squeegee them out of the whole thing. Maybe a bit thicker than single cream. You kind of want it to, yeah, that's all right. You don't want it to be like a blob. You're not making a dough. You want it to just be liquid enough to be able to. You want your paper to get sodden from it. So, okay, the one thing not to do, Dave, is let go of the spoon. Because if you let go of the spoon, it just falls in the stuff, and then you've got to find somewhere to put the spoon. Okay, let's put that there. Let's put that there. Okay, so I've made my stuff. Now this is not for the faint-hearted. This is going to be a messy old messiness. Now, I could wear gloves. Sorry, cutting, because I do still cough. I'm not coughing as much as I used to. I could wear gloves. The only problem with using gloves is you really can't tell what you're doing with them. You can't feel and you can't get in all the nooks and crannies. So I tend to kind of just wing it and get in a mess. So what you want to do is you want to kind of just dip it in, get it all in there, dipped in nicely, and then what you're going to do is you're going to squeegee it off. Now you can either use just your fingers like that, but to try and save myself from getting too messy, I'm going to use the side of the bowl, and I'm going to place it on, and then I'm going to try and work it in. Now, the reason I rejected the other way of doing it, which was using the tissue paper, was because it wasn't sticking down when I was working in. You want it to kind of stick down and not stick to you so much. So, not saying that this is going to work, just saying that this might be the better solution. So you can still get the definition from it, but you see how, like, if I lift my finger up, it takes the definition away. That's what you're trying to avoid. So you might want to deploy some extra tools, things like pencils and things, where you can kind of just squeeze it in and it's not your fingers, whatever you want to use, basically. Like I say, I am not an expert. I am just an amateur. So I think that is still too wet. So I'm going to scrape it off again, even more. And that way then it should stick rather than stick to me. Now you might not get as much definition from it as you like. Okay, so it's not working. I'll be honest with you, it's not working. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tear this down more. And I was hoping I would be able to do it in kind of one go, but I can't. So I'm going to use some littler pieces to make the definition first, and then go from there. So if this doesn't work straight away, because I've got the patience of a gnat these days at the moment, like having COVID again, my patience is very thin. Okay, so if it doesn't stick, I mean, like this piece is now, because it's kind of fairly dry, then I will just go back to using the brown tape on a roll, which I think I might actually do. Like I say, I'm not an expert, never made something quite so intricate before, so we're going to change it up. So I'm going to go back to using this, try and get the definition first, and then we'll go from there. So I now need some water in my little bowl. I'm hoping that this is going to work this time, because otherwise I've made something very intricate and then can't do anything with it. No, this seems to be going better. I think the thing is to find the right thickness of paper where it's going to give you some definition, but also it sticks down. So I'm not sure whether the paper the newspaper is malleable enough, if you know what I mean, if that's even a word. But I think for this, just to get it stuck down first and get the shape in, and then I can reshape it as I go. That's really what I want to do. So normally you wouldn't put this much definition on a first layer. So I'm going to use the edge of the pencil just to kind of just push it in. I'm going to put some of this down here, and that'll just hold it down. You know, I'm like I've always been honest with you. I'm not a paper mache expert. I like doing it. What's it called? The Mad Hatter's hat, whatever it's called. That was the last big project I did. I've done things like I've made hot air balloons and all sorts of things with paper mache before, but that was really the last biggest project I did. So this is going much better now. It needs to. Okay, so one of the things I've thought about doing is, one of the things I was having problems with is this wasn't really adhering to the string very much. See, there's pockets here where it kind of just pops up and down. So what I've done is I've come in and used some PVA glue, and any bits that I like, so that's not stuck down at all, so I'm not going to completely undo the whole thing, but I've gone over and I've painted the string with PVA. So to seal the string, well, it'll do two things. It'll seal the string and also make it slightly tacky for this to stick to. So I think that was half of the problem. It wasn't really sticking to the string. And that one just got dipped in it. I didn't mean to do that, but and I think maybe that might help it just adhere and have some more definition that way. So anyway, like I say, I'm going to get on with this, and I'll meet you back here when I've got the first coat on. So I've got all the way round, and it seems to be sticking now. So what I did was painted over all of the string bits with some PVA to kind of seal them, because that's where it wasn't sticking. I thought it was just the string, but actually I've realised that because I used hot glue, the hot glue is kind of plasticky, and so it doesn't stick to that, so the PVA just helped it stick. So now what I need to do is I kind of need to let it all dry, but what I will do is once it's dry, I will then cut off all of the excess pieces, and then I'll go over it with a layer of the newspaper. So that's what I'm hoping to do next. So I'm hoping that the newspaper will then stick. Let's just have a quick kind of just messy play and see if it's going to stick to the rest of it. So yeah, it's gonna stick fine. Yeah, it's just trying to get it around all the intricate pieces that I was going to have problems with. But yeah, so anyway, what I'm going to do is, in fact, actually, I shall do that now. Is I will just go round and I will just stick this over the rest of it. So it's all got like basically the same layer to start with. It's all of the grey board has had a layer that way then. You kind of don't want to layer it too much, otherwise it becomes two-dimensional in one place. Well, three-dimensional in one place. So, but we don't want it all to be the same direction as well. So I'll get some pieces that are a bit more shaped to fit areas. But I'm definitely pleased that I moved over to using the brown tape, because I found that to be much easier to work round those pieces, because it kind of, once it's wet, it's nice and malleable. So, and it does get messy, I will be very honest, but I don't mind the messy. So the extra bits I'm going to kind of just spread out amongst all the other bits to give it the same texture, so that the next layer will go on nicely. So I'm not worried about having like too much on here. We don't mind it. We also want it to look like it's got years of crud in it. Well, it's such a lovely term, crud, but you know what I mean. Also gives me an opportunity to squish down any pieces that I've noticed that are sticking up. The other thing I like about using the flower is I think it gives it well, it's not just a thing. I know that it actually gives it a bit more strength, because it's another building material. So it's another texture that's adding a bond to it. So it's just like when you make anything with flour, like food-wise, it has a glutinous thing, so all the gluten fibres all kind of stick together and holds the whole thing together. And the same goes for this. The flour will just kind of bind it all. The gluten strands will bind it together, which, yeah, which is my opinion. Yes, I agree. The universe telling me opinion. Might as well. That way then, if I've got too much on here, that's the problem with that is the one thing though with the flour method, is it does get a lot more messy, but you have to use the messy to your advantage. So you use the messy for like the texture that you want. You want to make sure it's all pushed down as well, because it's all just all stick up. If it's not pushed down, it'll stick up. That's a very logical answer, Dave. My fingers aren't quite as wet. So yeah, that's going on much better now. It's got a layer on. An initial layer. Excuse me. Burping on camera, Dave. How disgraceful. Oh well. I did apologise. I could tell you the little rhyme that goes with it. It's, pardon me, I was so rude, it was not me, it was my food. It just popped up to say hello and now it's gone back down below. Smoothing out. It dries really quite quickly actually, so we are back. So this isn't completely dry, but what I thought I would do is, while it's still a little bit wet, I'm just going to cut off the excess, and then we're going to call it a day for this time. And then when I come back next time, we will start building some extra layers over the top of this. There might be some more definition that I need to squeeze into it, etc. And we'll go from there, if that's okay with you. So what we'll do is we're just going to trim it. Now I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about this. I was thinking if I flip it over and cut off anything outside of the grey board, and hopefully I could do it like this rather than using the blade, which I can. Seems to be cutting okay. I thought if I cut it now, it's going to be a bit easier to cut than if it's all dry, because it's going to be multi-dimensional once it's dry. And it will, you know, runs the risk of me having to hack through it and then it breaking or whatever. So anyway, so yeah, so once I've cut this round, what we'll do is I need to leave it completely dry, because what I want to do then is I want to do more layers, but it needs to be stuck down to the rest of the board before I do any of that. And you can see it it bends a lot because it's two pieces that are joined together rather than one solid piece, which obviously would have been easier, but I didn't have any grey board that big. So okay, let's get rid of that for a minute. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we also need to, before we completely put it together, that's going to go on there. We also need to think about how we are going to attach the two pieces together, and also I want to build this up. Remember, I wanted to build it up so that I could have an inlay book inside it. So I need to think about that as well. So, but that's starting to be it. Obviously there are other bits here, like I've just noticed. Let's move this out from underneath. There are bits here that I've noticed that aren't stuck down, so I want to make sure that they're stuck before I leave it. I mean, that's all covered in goo. Let's just degooify it. And if we get this board, I know it's pretty messy, but get rid of that. Put that on there for a minute and get rid of this. Then next time when we come back, it should all be glued down, dry, stuck, etc. And we can then move from there and think about what we're going to do next. So about, you know, which do I build it up until it's solid, and build it up and build it up until it's solid as a rock. That's what this board is. That's what we've got. I just want to check that all the bits are kind of stuck down, and any bits that aren't I can stick now. So obviously there are a few bits that still overhang, but it's fine. We can wrap those into the when you put the next layer on, and because like it'll have another layer, and I'm going to then start putting more layers of this stuff. What's it called? Paper mache on. Sorry. Having had COVID, my ability to talk and remember what I'm talking about has been fried. So, having had COVID again is what I should say. I mean, I've had it more times since it's no longer been a big thing than I had it when it was a big thing. So I guess that's because we kind of mill around and meet up with people these days that we didn't do during lockdown. So yeah, just want to make sure all of this is kind of stuck down before I leave it. Might as well make sure it's stuck, which it is. Seems to be now. Yeah, cool. So that can kind of just now dry, and then what we'll do is in the next video, I think I'm going to need to build these components up. So put a wall around two sides of it, or two sides. I don't know yet. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this. 3 sides probably. And then no, it'll be 4 sides, won't it? Because it needs to be completely encasing the book that's inside. And then we also need to think about what we're going to do to hinge the spine on. I'm thinking fabric maybe. So anyway, yeah, there's a few things to think about. So we'll leave this for now, and then I know you can't really see much definition on here, but there is a lot more than there was. So you can now start to see these where the string is underneath, and it's got some texture to it. So that's really what I'm trying to do, and I don't want it to be as textured as it is. I want it to, as we build it up, you'll lose that texture. So you'll lose the definition. So anyway, I don't really know how it's going to turn out. So that's why you're here, and that's why I'm here. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Please feel free to comment, subscribe, share it, do all that good stuff. I'm really genuinely grateful for everybody that's here. Thank you for those extra people that have recently subscribed. I'm now up to 2,131. So thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. So thanks very much, folks. Love to you all. Big hugs. Don't forget, I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, folks. Lots of love. Bye. 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 Bye.